Noisy Pixel.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to episode 70 of the Noisy Pixel podcast for the week of July 25th. I'm your host, Brian Lee, and today I'm joined by Azario Lopez.
Hello, Brian.
Just you and me today, bud. Just you and me.
Yeah, it's a pretty chill week because now that we've gotten over the hump that was 69, our next milestone is not until 420. So
Yeah, see, that takes a lot of pressure off, you know? Let's load off my back.
we have a lot of time to improve, and hopefully coronavirus is gone by the time that episode
We hit episode 420. Maybe we'll have video too. Maybe it'll become a video podcast by then.
Yeah, that's the one that will be video is 420. We've been waiting
if we can't give them an episode 420 video guarantee, that's kind of sad.
I promise we're working on video and thinking about it. It's on our mind.
Mm-hmm. We just gotta lose some weight.
Yeah, we gotta diet.
Gotta get a non unprofessional haircut.
The idea of a 12-year-old making fun of me, I can't handle it, dude.
No, man.
It sucks because I want to be like, you're fucking 12 years old. The fuck do you know? But I can't do that.
Yeah, they'll just be like, haha, that guy is fat, and then that's just gonna be all the comments.
Man, couldn't put up with that. Well, those are the stresses. Those are the stresses that we go through. What are the stresses that you go through, dear listeners? Let Brian know at brian@noisypixel.net. You could send him an email and let him know what stresses you out during the day.
Yeah, I'm here, man. Just reach out to me. Did I tell you I'm a psych major? I got a bachelor's in psychology. I'll analyze the shit out of you guys.
Yeah, in my one semester of psychology in my C grade, that qualifies me for something.
Yeah, right. It qualifies me to state opinions.
Yeah.
I can't form any sort of diagnosis, but I can tell you.
Sure as hell tell you what's wrong with you.
Eat an apple, get some sleep. That's basically what I'm going to tell you. But yeah, what you been playing, Azario?
Brian, I've been playing a lot of games lately.
Yeah, I saw, man. You busted out a bunch of videos recently.
My thought process is I play literally about 12 to 13 hours of video games a day.
Man.
And saying that video games are still fun as a video game reviewer is really hard, you know?
It is. I feel it.
I honestly think, though, that I had a lot of fun playing Ghost of Tsushima, so much so that I can't stop thinking about it and I want to play it. I just can't because I got so much on my plate right now. But honestly, Ghost of Tsushima is a terrific game. It's pretty interesting comparing that to a game like The Last of Us, which is super concentrated into levels. You know, you have this stretch of street, these little buildings on the side, and then you travel to this next area and then this next area. But you're very much going in one direction, you know, the whole time. You can't go back, you know. With Ghost of Tsushima, imagine that level of detail and environmental building, and just blow it up to these 3 enormous sections of beautiful environments and just fields and the trees don't look copied and pasted. Every forest is unique, you know? And I said it in my review, but it was an open world game that I didn't want to use fast travel in.
That's always nice.
I didn't want to. There's no part of me that minded traveling by horse to an area, because everything that goes on in between that, you'll like see like a guy that needs help on the side of the road, or you'll see some bandits. Um, that I don't know. It's like I remember in Horizon Zero Dawn, I'd be like, "Oh, there's enemies over there," and I would just run past them as fast as I can. Like, fuck that. Like, I don't give a shit.
Right. Right.
But with Ghost of Tsushima, it'd be like, "Hey, enemies are on the right hand side. Fuck, like I really want to stop what I'm doing, even if I'm going towards a quest,
Mm-hmm.
and handle it, because you get like skill points. It goes towards your level overall
Yeah.
every time you do something like that.
Yeah.
But man, it is a beautiful game. There's a I hope it comes to PC at some point, I guess. But right now, I'm cool with it being a PS4 exclusive. I know for sure, like, I'll put fucking money on it, dude, that these games are coming to PS5. Like, there's no doubt about it that
Oh yeah.
they're not gonna milk this PS5 remastered train just as
Mm-hmm.
much as the PS4 did. You know?
Yeah, because a lot of the consoles that are coming out, they're really like trying to flex good graphics and stuff like that. So I definitely can see games like that showing up on the future generation consoles.
Yeah. So other than that, I've been playing just some visual novels and just trying to catch up on other crap. But
Mm-hmm.
the way the website goes is if nobody picks up a review, I'll pick it up. So I got to be like the jack of all trades on the staff and give it its due diligence. I do that for every game that I review, and I push myself pretty hard. But we're growing, and that's what this entails. Hopefully, it all pays off. But then again, playing games like Ghost of Tsushima really makes it pay off, because god damn, it's just so good. There's these games that come across your radar that you get to play, and you're just like, fuck, like I'm so happy that I experienced this type of thing, and it makes it worth it.
I think that's what's nice about, working in this industry is you get to, come across games that you normally wouldn't give a chance to. And then you kind of can discover like new games that you're like, wow, this is really good and a lot of fun. And I'm glad I took the time to play it.
Well, to your point, I would never play visual novels unless I was gonna review them. Like, I I haven't played a visual novel for fun in a very long time. Like I cannot tell you the last visual novel I played that I wasn't reviewing. So, there's that.
Hmm.
But what about you? What have you been playing?
So I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter,
Dude,
because we
I've
picked it
seen that
up.
actually. I've seen that actually, like, at 1 AM or twelve AM, you'll get on Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I have a problem. You know how you're saying for Ghost of Tsushima, you're just like you got that craving to like keep playing
Mhm.
it. That's how I feel about Monster Hunter now. I had it. I bought the game forever ago when it like first came to PC, and I like never touched it. And then Corona came, and me and my friends were like, "Hey, let's pick a game, and we're just gonna burn through it during coronavirus." And so we picked Monster Hunter World, and we just like cranked out through the first game, bought the Iceborne expansion, and are cranking through that. Um, to the point where like our entire Discord, there's like 8 of us, 8 to 10 of us, just playing Monster Hunter like every day. It gets pretty ridiculous.
I think you picked a
Um,
good time because the PC is now on level with the console version in terms of
mhm.
building. So,
Yeah, with events and stuff. Yeah, so I think just yesterday, no, 2 days ago, they just announced their new Spice Fest event, which is like a carnival type themed event. And every time a Monster Hunter does an event, they basically bring back all the other previous event quests, which is cool. So it's a great time now to be coming in because then now I can experience all the event quests that have been available on Monster Hunter World from previous times. So it's super dope.
I really want to return to Final Fantasy 14, but don't have capacity right now, which
Yeah,
sucks.
I heard doesn't Final Fantasy 14 they like raised the free to play trial to like level 60 cap or something?
That, and they just launched a really cool like near event too that's going on, but
Yeah, I'm
it's
tempted too, man. Final Fantasy 14 online was probably is one of my favorite MMORPGs that's
mm,
currently like running. I
mm.
really like that one, and I also really like Guild Wars 2. But I think Final Fantasy I enjoy its like dungeon design better, as well as the ability to switch between classes whenever you want. I think is also really nice.
I think Monster Hunter is also a little more forgiving if you make a mistake, especially in a tougher. I mean, the battles are really hard in Monster Hunter. Like they go for a pretty long time in terms of like the bigger creatures that you have to take down. But there's room for mistakes. You know, there's room for your party to kind of assist you. Whereas
Oh yeah, definitely.
in Final Fantasy 14, you know the weakest link, and like
That's true. The dude just like fucks up, and
yeah, you
then
know,
there's no
it's easy
helping
to
him.
spot that person. It's easy. It's really easy to spot the person that's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But Monster Hunter, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. But that's part of the appeal and the fun of Monster Hunter from what I've played of it.
Yeah, I think playing with multiple people is definitely the best way to go about doing it. And what's nice is that I think the Monster Hunter community is really friendly because there's no incentive to like, you know, not help somebody. Like everyone's helping everybody just because that's just the best way to go about doing it. So if as long as you're not the dude who like dies and uses all three deaths and like fails the quest, then you're okay. You can like literally just sit in a corner and not do anything, and it's fine.
Yeah. But that's cool that you're playing that you're spending time actually.
Yeah, I think it really introduced me to just the Monster Hunter series in general. Like I think I played the first one on PS2 and I couldn't get into it mainly because I've never played a game like that and it was super weird. Like Monster Hunter is it's its own thing. Um,
Yeah.
and the controls even back then were like really weird where you're like attacks you had to use the analog sticks on the PlayStation
Mm.
to do attacks and stuff, which I was like, whoa, that's so different. Um, but now I bought Monster Hunter Ultimate for the Switch, and I'm like, okay, time to go back and like actually experience the more difficult, less quality of life Monster Hunter to see if like
Yeah.
I'll enjoy it just as much.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a different beast.
yeah,
Ultimate.
less forgiving, definitely. Where
Yeah,
you just
I think people came from Hunter to Ultimate, as you did, and they
mm,
weren't expecting just it's all that game is definitely just about loot. Like you're
yeah.
gonna be running the same missions, the same quests, just to get like the best loot. And dude, I know people that put like 500 hours into that game.
Yeah,
Like
no, like I've put in 200 hours already into Monster Hunter World, and then we have
Jesus,
my friend's friend who's already like master rank 500 or something like that, and I'm only like master rank like 70 or something. And so I'm just like, wow, that's so many hours. But it's kind of cool that
yeah.
there's just a lot of content in the game to where
Mm,
you can be able to put in that many hours and you don't feel like it's a slog or anything like that. Like there's still
mm.
new things to do every time. Like I haven't even fought a lot of the end game like monsters. I haven't even fought all the monsters yet, and I'm already 200 hours in.
Cool, man.
Yeah, so it's fun. Other than that, I recently played Carrion, which the review is up on our site. And so that one, it's basically like a Metroidvania style game, but it's like they called it a reverse horror game in which you're playing the monster instead of being the person that the monster is hunting. Um, so you play as this like homogenous, tentacly. It looks like chewed up bubble gum with a bunch of worms sticking out of it and a ton of
Mm,
mouths. And you basically like escape from your containment unit in this like underground lab, and you go around and like destroying scientists and like eating them, and then eventually you like find more and more abilities, and you like learn how to do stuff like turn invisible and get like more terrifying as the game progresses. um so it's like both one of those like power trip type of games, but at the same time it's like fun because you're like, oh, now I get to be like the monster in the monster movies and kind of you know like dick around a little bit.
I really liked the way that the creature moved.
Hmm.
Like it would be like still, and then you would just kind of just blast across the screen, but all the tentacles would kind of just like crawl
Yeah, you like
onto the roof.
lash out to like pull
Yeah,
yourself. Yeah.
like
It.
it's like a slingshot motion kind of,
Hmm.
but the way that it kind of crawls through a area where it connects to
Yeah.
the roof and the floor at the same time, and then whatever's in front of it and kind of pulls itself. It's
Yeah.
just really cool movement.
Yeah, it's really fluid too. Like the game doesn't it feels super smooth to play. Like it's kind of you can like I could see this game being speed run like
Oh,
really
definitely,
easily, and I would love to see a speed run of this game because
definitely.
there's like portions where there'll be like soldiers who'll if you're too slow with what you're doing, they'll like know you're there, and then they'll pull out like a shield and start shooting you with like flamethrowers and shit, and you won't be able to kill them. You'll like die super fast. So it rewards like hiding and like striking super fast to like just take down multiple people at once and then like hiding again. And like the whole time you like really kind of can picture it as being like a horror film, um, which was super enjoyable. I would love to see this as like a movie. I like the concept of the creature that just like keeps evolving and like it's really cool.
The Blob is one of my favorite Universal horror films.
That is a great movie.
Hmm. Um, yeah. Is there anything else you would like to talk about today?
So I'm gonna bust out another one of Brian plays terrible games thing.
Mm.
So I started playing Clue on Steam with
I
my
know.
friends. So it started with my friend playing with his family, and we were all like, kind of just want to play something that's not Monster Hunter because we've been playing Monster Hunter like every day, and so we decided to start playing Clue. Um, and then one of our friends like never played Clue before, and we're all just like trying to teach her how to play it like strategically. And a part of me was thinking is like who plays Clue like this intensely as like a board game? Because
Game.
we're like marking down like numbers of like oh like you know like logging systematically everything and doing stuff like that.
Well,
Um,
that's the thing about Clue and the way of deduction is that game got it right. You know,
mhm.
like
Yeah, I never really appreciated it as like a kid because that was when I like first played Clue, and I was just like, oh, I'm arbitrarily just gonna guess things and try to take notes. But then I like playing it now, you're just like, oh, you're basically just playing the equivalent of like a Sudoku that
mm,
gets more information filled in as you play, or like a pictograph or something. You know?
good game.
Yeah, great
I
game.
have a topic. Um, so the Xbox Game Showcase was today.
Hmm.
We have a discussions video where Mark and I talk about all the trailers that were shown.
Yeah.
But from what you've seen, does any of them stand out to you?
Um. Yeah, I like that. Obviously, Halo is always going to be a standout thing. That's like the big name
Mhm.
title, right? And it looks nice. I haven't played too much Halo since like the first one, so so my standards are not going to be the same as other Halo players' standards. You know, where I'm just like, oh yeah, that's nice. You know, fucking Halo looks great, way better than what I'm used to. Um. But the the other game that I really liked that I saw was Grounded.
Mm,
And the reason it stuck out was it kind of reminds me of who made this movie. You remember the movie Ant Bully?
yes.
Yeah, it reminds me of that. I feel like it's the same concept except you get to play that
Yeah.
like as a survival game with your friends. And it looks like a lot of fun. But
I
I
played
really like
I played Ant Bully the video game.
yeah, Ant Bully the video game. It's basically the closest you can get. If you really liked Ant Bully the movie and you wanted to, you know, if you like the concept of that, you could play it now as a game.
Yeah, that game looks really fun. It's a survival game, but you're like little and you gotta
Yeah.
survive in the backyard with your
And
friends.
we had a great time on We Play Games for Raft. So when I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, we definitely got to play this when it comes
Oh
out
yeah.
for We Play Games.
Yeah.
Um,
We haven't aired that raft episode, by the way.
oh no, never mind. It doesn't exist. We don't have a We Play
Hey,
Games for Raft.
we'll put it out eventually. You'll eventually see it.
Yeah. But that game looked like a lot of fun, and I just appreciated in one of the trailers says like, oh, if you want to play the biggest game, play Cyberpunk 2077. But if you want to play the smallest game, play Grounded. Um, which I like it. I like the little tongue in cheek type of trailers.
Yeah,
Um,
I think my favorite trailer out of the whole showcase was The Medium.
mhm,
Um, just because I think Control kind of let me down with its newest expansion, but this
mhm,
is kind of borrowing that same psychological mysterious horror elements with dual realities. And this trailer just kind of solidified that for me. It's very double A in the sense that this team, I know what this team is capable of. I've seen their previous games. So this one definitely like pushes that they can produce, which is interesting. You know, you think that you expect these indie teams to just continuously use the same engines, but this team is pushing themselves, you know, and
Yeah.
coming up with, I mean, how many games is made on the Life is Strange engine, you know, like Tell Me Why was shown, but it just looks like Life is Strange.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh, this is just Life is Strange, isn't it? But as a
Yeah,
horror
so
game.
like you definitely have like this idea that these indie teams are actually pushing themselves, and I see that in the medium, and I see that in the Bloober team, who's the developer. So that game
Mm.
definitely stood out.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I like it when companies push the boundaries. Like I think I just what comes to mind is just like Dynasty Warriors as a series, and just like how
Yeah.
it's the same game over and over and over and over and over again with the same assets, just rehashed a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it's I like it when companies take a chance to try to do something new, which I guess is another reason I really appreciate like Nintendo as a company as well, because they always do like weird shit with
Yeah.
their systems and stuff. They're always so different and creative.
They never give us the Metroid that we want.
Mm. They're gonna give us a Metroid, but it's gonna have like a controller where you actually have to roll up into a ball
Yeah.
and bounce around like
Some
an exercise ball that you
some
curl into.
peripheral. Some fucking peripheral.
Some dumb peripheral, yeah.
Well, Brian, that's all I wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, I think I'm good too. Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. As always, if you want to learn more about gaming news, reviews, previews, and things like that, please be sure to check out our website, noisypixel.net. A lot of great gaming content on there. So many games that we honestly, it's never going to get, we can't cover everything in this podcast, obviously. And half of the time we ramble on like I'm doing right now. But yeah,
I'm
if you
tired.
want, yeah, be sure to check out the website. If you want to follow us on social media, please follow us on social media. It'll help us out a lot. All those links are on the website as well. And until next week, we will see you then. Bye bye.
Yeah.